In this first Descendant video, I'm going to be discussing essential things that you'll need to finish the game when it comes to maxing your character out, having the best potential overall. I'm 200 hours in, and I got a lot to say in this video. I'm going to be doing a series of these where I help you really max out your build and take it there. Before we get into that, I do have a giveaway. Go into the comments, check it out. Giving y'all free game codes. Leave a comment and I'll be selecting winners. So lock in for that. And it should be fun. And now let's get into this video. So first things first, we're going to talk about descendants very quickly. Only a couple. I'm give you the top 5, the must-haves. You already know you're going to pick one of the characters, but you also get Bunny. This is kind of the standard for this game, and it's actually a great standard. She is going to be the best farmer in the game without a shadow of doubt for the most part. There is a new farm with Valby, of course, but I have that in my channel. You can check it out after this. But Bunny has the best speed and the biggest AoE in the game, and it's just very handy to have her. Right. One thing I want to teach you is you can swap back and forth at any time, whether you're at the main HUD, the Albion, or you're in one of the main outposts. You can switch. So we're talking about Bunny, and the main ability is this right here. You can electrify everything. So make sure you have her, and you don't have to go crazy with her kit. I use 1 energy to give her max capacity. I don't even need that, but with that alone, I have a decent build here, and I switch this up all the time, but this is basically one of many different styles that I'll play. I'm trying to maximize my range, for example, and just do good DPS. There's a lot of variations with her. This is pretty much no investment for the most part, besides 1 energy that you'll get through the story. You'll end up getting 2. So I would say get her and just max that out. It's the easiest way not to have to spend your catalyst and have a buffed character where you can do some really cool things with. And I'm not going to go too deep into her, but you would want max range, and you would want to put out as much damage as you can. For example, some range here. And that's how you start with her. And the reason I love her, again, is not rocket science. She's straightforward. All you have to do is use your speed to get some electricity, and then you pop that ability. And the more you move and groove, the more she can do. So just keep that in mind and utilize it. All right, we're gonna just skip along changing descendants to give you the fundamentals. She's very key. Now I want to talk about 2 descendants right away, which is going to be Enzo and Sharon. We're going to start off with Sharon. Sharon allows you to have literally 2 times the awards that you can get. So anytime I go to do an outpost, I'm going to be able to get double the rewards. If you look down here, it says successful infiltration. This is strictly for stealthing. And so I can get a second amorphous material. I got 1 up here. And then if I do it the way she has, which is basically using her stealth ability, I have invested 0 into her, but she's allowed me to get in and hack the systems. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's usually 4 at max. And it's giving me the bonus rewards. It's pretty simple. You're going to be doing this regardless if you have her or not. Why not put her on for 2 minutes to be able to run that mission, clear it out, and then you're good to go. I swap her in and out all the time. And I want to just talk about kind of a little quick setup. I have duration here, and then more duration with the MP accelerant. There's better ones in here as well. This is just me casually playing. I have a bunch of different settings. And again, I did not spend not even 1 energy or catalyst on her just yet, but I do love her, and I think she could be a really fun playstyle. I did something with her that was very interesting just to test it with a sniper, and she can do some serious damage. But this is something you want to do, basically duration, and then you get in there, you clear out those outposts, and you're going to get some rewards. If you're wondering what an outpost is, and this is your first video watching on my channel, I break all that stuff down. You can watch my videos and learn about that. We're not going down the rabbit hole for each character in that way. But now we're going to get into Enzo, another character that you can't ignore. But when you're opening up encrypted vaults, it's very difficult for some people. Me personally, I actually found it very easy. But it does get challenging because you have to really focus. With him, he's not only going to open it easier, he's going to give you double the rewards basically, and you have a chance of getting better things. And there's certain things only he can get. Okay, so you're going to want to do that, and you don't have to put anything on his mods to do those hacking of those. But personally, the way I like his setup, and I have a build video for him, which is with the shield, because he focuses on shield. And so you can make a very cool non-meta build with him as well. Plus, he has crazy critical hits, okay? When you put on a specific mod, and I'm going to show that in my build video, but the point is these are essential, essential characters to have in your setup. Now, as we know, we'll end up getting all of the main characters, whereas Lepic, Viessa, or Ajax as your main character to start off with anyways, and they all have good usage, and there's nothing wrong with any of those characters. But the ones that I just talked about are the most essential to have in this game when it comes to overall utility. Okay, so make sure you do that, and then you'll be good from there. The next tip that I have, very critical tip, is guess what? I personally have, and I mean a lot of catalysts used on Valby. She is my number one character, so I decided to invest pretty much everything into her, and of course the energy. And I explained to people that you need to focus on one weapon and one character to be your main character. This character will carry you through literally the end game. So in here, no spoilers, of course. I'm not gonna show every boss, but the final boss, I breezed through this with Valby because I kept upgrading her as I went along, and it was easy, to be honest with you. But the trick, and I have a video explaining some of the essential things, is committing to a weapon and upgrading that, and then committing to a character and upgrading that. And the reason I want to kind of bring that back up into this video is because I also had eras where I didn't do so. And now I'm starting to slowly build up my Thunder Cage, for example, for mobs, and then build up my Tamer. These are just standard weapons. They're not going to be the main weapons I use. I love a lot of other weapons. But the point is, this is just something I've been doing to make sure I'm capable of putting out the DPS, because you can't beat a boss if you don't have the DPS. Playing through the story is easy, open world stuff. You're going to have a breeze no matter what. But those bosses become difficult. And speaking of difficult, I want to try to synergize and teach you how to synergize. For example, I just talked about Enzo, and I'm actually working on him right now. And to kind of give you a little preview, I have skill duration, and then I have max shield. These two different components specifically to buff what he does. Okay. And then if I go to my presets, which is a cool thing to do, I can switch it out to her, or I can go back to him, for example. Let's go apply this, which I already have on there. Then I can switch it out anytime I want. I don't have to worry too much. For example, let's get into this. And so now I have her, and I have my loadout, which I put all skill duration and this setup with her for now. It's one of my setups. So this is just a standard on what you should be doing, saving some slots. You can swap back and forth with specific components that are going to help you for that specific character, depending on your playstyle. Okay. Very critical that you do that. And before we get into anything else, the mod system, there are some little tricks and some hindering things that can happen. So if I was to fill this all up and I wanted to change to my ability mobbing, for example, I always have like a slot not taken when I'm doing different builds for the most part. So I don't even have to put a catalyst in there if I don't want to. Unless I really say this is going to be the main way I play, there's no other way I want to play, then I can slot these in and do something different. But for now, for example, I'm still loose with it. These two last spots are not taken. I do want to talk about this right here. You're probably wondering, why did I put one in here? Why? Because supply moisture is the greatest out of all of these. And while I definitely will be trying some of them, I don't really need too much. I can literally make another Valby if I wanted that or something. But I can swap this out anytime if I felt like using one of my catalysts and going in here and saying we're going to change this to nothing or something. So this is the only one I would say don't change unless you're absolutely certain, like I am, if that's what you want to do. Okay. Secondly, on top of that, when it comes to the bottom one right here, there's certain ones that are very good. And for example, I can always have this, but the standard ones are still decent because you're going to get 10 extra health, etc., which is nice. But guess what? I'm missing out on mobility. And I want to be able to get one of these. So you can look up where to find these and put them on for your playstyle. So for example, I'll throw this on here, and then now I'm good to go. And I can basically use that to travel any which way I want, which makes a big difference. I use this specifically for boss fights because there are times I can't go nowhere. The boss is about to attack me. I'll jump into the air, go behind them. All of a sudden, I can keep shooting and do what I have to do in that way. It's a little bit of a sneaky trick, but it's a fun thing to do. And it's actually awesome to kind of play with the movement in your own way. Okay. So that's another quick pro tip. And speaking about weapons, I have been unloading on trying to get everything to 40 on my kit. I don't have them all in here. They're in my stash. I got more than probably half of my weapons to 40. I'm trying to get my mastery level high. As you can see, it's at 18. But the reason why I say think about this and do that, if you're farming, just put on different weapons, even if you're not going to really use them, because you want to try to get the maximum XP. And so I just use it when I'm farming, and I want to get up here. As you can see, you're getting one extra capacity each level you go. And this is one capacity for your weapon and for your character, which is super critical in my view. And by the end of it all, you're coming out with a lot. I'm talking about 10 extra slots for your character. So I think it's a W if you take the time and you do that. Okay. And it's super critical. And all I do is I just put some on, take them off, and then put them away as I go. And there's a couple in here that I have that I really haven't used as much, but I did get to 40, as you can see, plenty of them. And the point is, do that, and you're going to see yourself rise up and get better big time. I do want to take a moment to talk about another little trick I like to do. You know, when you're in the open world or when you're fighting a boss, guess what? Just hit the map, go to Albion, and fast travel here. The reason why is because the developers make you travel there and you got to run all the way over here, or fast travel here. If I fast travel here, I can go ahead and head over to the research spot every single time. That's the main area that I go in this game. And I think all of us do as well. So you want to try, take your time and do that right so that you could be all set for the day. So I come over here every single time, no matter where I'm going, and then I can do all the different things that we want to do in here. For example, research. Another pro tip, always have something going. Right now, I should have catalyst and energy going. I have been a little bit slacking. It's the weekend, by the way. But if I have a chance to grab some right now, after I make this video, I'll go ahead and craft them. And then I'll keep things pushing. And for example, I might need some of these. Look at all the materials I have. Why am I not crafting these? Just in case, right? It's not like I'm need all this material. I literally have too many. And so, for example, I'll just go and make some of these. Now I'm a little bit exaggerated. Now we went too hard, but that is an example of the type of thing you want to do to have yourself ready, set to go for the end game and all the different content that you want to do. So consistently make something if you have the materials for it and you're good to go and you're locked in. I wanted to take a moment to step outside of that and get into upgrading because a lot of young new players that don't understand how this all works is that there's a system in here for adjustment. This is for people who want to max their build, and I don't have the perfect setup, by the way. I just threw this on to throw this on. This is something I'm going to change, and this. Why? Because I want all gold or purple items, the highest level. But for now, these are what I have. And for example, the one that I would keep is this because I am doing a crit hit with Valby. And so I would change pretty much everything else and only do this and keep switching it. If I have the materials, of course, for that, I'm going to do it. Same thing for my secondary, which is the Tamer. Want to go ahead and put on some things. You see, I already have something I love, which is this. And I don't mind critical hit damage. These two are musts for me. And then these two I can change if I really want to get crazy with it. But the point is, this is the key. And yes, guess what? I have 500. So that means I can do this a lot of times. And I just put more to craft. Okay. So we're going to keep on making the right adjustment. This will maximize your build. We might have the same build, but all of my weapons have these extra attributes that really buff me and give me more damage than you because you didn't take the time to see what you could do with your build. Okay. And actually, speaking of that, if you have a legendary, for example, everybody should have the Thunder Cage because that's a part of the story. Be going in here and then maximizing it. Of course, I haven't finished, but I need to make 2 more of them and install them. Think of it as an installment, right? You create one to buff one up. So I can get it to the maximum damage, maximum potential just by doing that. And I know this is something that I covered in my other video, but I just want to remind people while we talk about it. Another secret tip that is kind of being revealed now is the combined modules. Okay, combined modules has a couple of tricks to it. There's a website, I might put that into the comments for you guys, where in the official website they explain some of this, the probability of what you could get. So for example, you see these types, there's different socket types. I'll give you an example here. The mala, if I wanted to recreate something for like supply moisture, if I put a bunch of these symbols, the same symbol, I might get the same item. And that goes for all of the different setups as well. So you want to get the probability by having a similar setup to it is what the word around town is. But the website has actual probabilities way better than what we have been testing as a community. We've been testing it, but we haven't certified it. But that's just general stuff that you should try and do. Don't dismantle as much anymore. Why? Because we have farming methods. On my last video, had the craziest farming method. I literally only spent 30 minutes to an hour and I got all this. I mean, I had some already, but 2 million KUIPER shards and then 18 million gold. Okay, so that speaks for itself that I don't think my method is false or not good. And it's not getting nerfed from what the devs have been saying. They're going to work on something to make the game more fun. But that's just an example of some of the stuff that you could do that's going to enhance your gameplay and help you go forward. First of all, you watch this whole thing, thank you very much. You have a chance to win. Go ahead, leave something in the comments. Let me know that you've been watching, and we'll get you a chance to win some of these games. Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, and Assassin's Creed Shadows for you guys. So super exciting to give that away to the community, and it's a good time. We just made the best farming guide. I think if you're watching this, you might need that. If you did watch that, I also have the Valby build. Should be popping up on your screen right now. Go check that out, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.